going live right now.
Okay.
You may sit wherever you want.
That's what we decided with other truth.
Sit right here.
I know we're getting to.
What if I want to?
Let's,
We did about 20 something.
25. Oh, so that's 25. This is 25 spread. So if we did 25, then there's your
Yeah,
number.
right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, we're live, right?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the HTC. It's Thursday, July 29th at 1:02 p.m. Present at the moment are Diane Coombs, Val Oliver, John McLaughlin, Carrie Thornwell, and myself, Ray Pohl. Any of you folks in the audience who want to record any portion of today's meeting on your own device, let us know in advance. And I'm sure you'll be respectful of taking your conversations out in the hall if they're not at the table.
Commission?
At the moment, there's only 4, John. That's correct. And-
Well,
and Abby's-
Diane,
That counted,
oh, okay,
right?
so there's
Oh,
5.
no, oh, didn't count myself. Okay. Okay. I guess I do. And so Abby's gonna show up momentarily. Anyway, so first order of business is to approve today's agenda.
So
I'd make a
moved.
motion to approve.
Okay, thanks, Diane. On the motion, Val,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Diane on your motion.
Aye.
I'm in favor, that motion carries. Okay, any public comment at this time? All right, hearing none, we're gonna move along to our new business. First things we have is workshop.
They're asking that workshop applications be held until Tuesday.
You see, you were right. We're gonna sail through this. So we're already four up. Okay, so we need a motion to hold items 1 through 4 on new business until Tuesday's agenda.
So moved.
Thank you.
Last week, this week.
Wait a second.
I'll get there. bro.
Okay, John seems to have a different agenda than,
Because he probably printed it himself.
hey, John,
Different.
this is the agenda.
We had to take these 2 off after you came, John.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so yeah, they're just those 2.
So use this one.
Yeah, so
Oh, sorry.
they're the same. So John, we're holding these 4 applications until Tuesday, okay? So, let's see, did somebody give me a motion on that?
I did.
Okay, so Val has given us a motion to hold items 1 through 4 on new business till Tuesday. On that motion, Diane,
Aye.
thank you. John,
Aye.
thank you. Carrie,
Aye.
Val on the motion. I'm
Aye.
in favor. Okay, great. Now we're up to, because there's nobody here to represent. All right. Okay, so now we're at 8 Walsh.
I moved down so we can spread out.
All right, may I begin, sir?
Yes, please.
All right, so this application had come in previously for the addition to the rear of the structure, which was approved. It was approved with true divided light windows in the back, and it was approved with no modifications to the existing structures. I was very excited. I went back, I told my client said, that's not what I want. My client would like to have wood insulated glass windows to replace every double hung that is existing. We are leaving the fixed existing windows in the structure so that there will at least be something that resembles some character left. And that is the survey, and it's all in the same rough opening, all the same divided light cut, and I guess if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. I hope that was clear.
That was pretty clear to me.
Yeah.
HSAP.
Yes, HSAB, Mr. Chair, reviewed this on July 12th. Again, this is a 1920s bungalow. This is a significantly historic structure. The windows appear to be in relatively good shape and should be repaired rather than replaced. changing to insulated glass windows would diminish the historic integrity of the building, and I also agree that the TDL should remain.
Okay, thank you.
One more point that I'd like to make, that this is outside of the ROH. And that there are buildings in the area that actually have Anderson vinyl clad windows in them. The client did mention that, and I
They may
said
not have been applied for.
it's possible. And I said, well, then we should at least apply for wood insulated glass windows. So,
Okay. All right. Who wants to begin?
I will.
Thank you, Doc.
I think our policy, since we've been a group together, is if you keep the TDL on the front of the house, which is what we'll see. The sides that are least seen in the rear, we've allowed SDLs. And I think, given how it sits on the site, do you see any of the side of this building?
the north elevation is, it's probably, oh, jeez, sorry. The north elevation and the south elevation are, they're visible somewhat from like a obtuse angle. It's not like it's grown up around it. It's, it's not, there's no natural screening. Maybe from the north, there's some, and there's a house to the north. The south is a little bit more open, but there is a covered porch that would somewhat obscure the visibility towards that elevation. And that's, hopefully that will help in making a determination.
Thanks, Bill. Hey, so question.
Yes, sir.
I see. The only like screening here is that they have the little bottom screens that fit in under the top sash. Insect screen.
Right now, they just have insect screens. Some of the windows, when you open them, they're actually missing their jambs, so you can see the weight moving up and down. It's not every one of them, but it's probably like every third window in the house has that condition.
Okay.
And then some of them are a little bit tight, but.
There you go.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead.
I think Val's thought would be consistent with what we're talking about, and maybe if you do retain the original windows on the front, if these ones are in really crapo shape, we can find one that might be in better shape on the sides to replace it with, if there
Or could
are.
I do TDLs then on the front, new TDLs on the front, because that's what it was approved for in the
Yeah.
prior
Well,
application.
if they were, yeah, I would
Yeah, I
imagine
mean, 'cause
that
it-
would be right.
Yeah,
But I don't think the SDLs on the sides and rear will be exposed enough to be noticeable, and they're gonna be built all by the same company, so
Yeah.
they'll all.
Yeah.
Be consistent.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, hang on one second, Diane.
Yep.
Just want to make sure that Carrie is finished.
I am.
Okay, so Carrie's finished. Yes, you can go ahead.
I want to know, are those 3/1 windows been approved, or are they up for approval?
Those are existing.
Yeah.
They're staying. Okay. All right, then I guess the TDLs and the SDLs, the way we approved it first, I don't know how we ever approve those windows, but anyway, that's all I have to say.
Okay, Diane, just to be clear, when you say you don't know how we ever approve those windows, what do you mean?
The 3/1s are those long windows, I have,
Well, Diane, those have existed since 1920, I think.
okay, well, that's what I said. I just hadn't noticed them before. So
Yeah.
now
it's
they
like-
catch my eye and I say, wow, that's all.
Not a normal light configuration, but it is what's original with the house, definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Diane. John, you ready?
Every facing window,
Correct.
nothing else, just window. All right, where are the ones that, did we replace all the windows?
Yeah,
Okay. There's no markings of what's gonna be replaced.
There's a
Yeah,
survey
highlighted.
right there.
well, John,
I'm talking about highlighted on the
no,
plan.
okay, so actually, the better way to say this is, there's only two windows one window that's not getting replaced, and that's this one.
This one is not getting replaced. That one is not getting replaced. That one is staying.
And
And
these,
yeah, these are existing. They're original. This one's staying, this one's staying, this one's staying, that one's staying. These are all original.
all the rest would be getting switched out.
Switched out, and insulated glass on the sides, but true divided light on the front.
That's what seems to be the consensus.
It would be nice if you were replacing the ones on the front, to put some panes in that big one on the bottom.
That's historic window.
It is?
It is an historic window. It's a really cool historic
Okay,
window.
then forget it.
What's really cool about it?
It's crown and cylinder glass. It's an original window.
Okay,
All right, so I'm okay with the proposal that Val outlined. Does somebody want to make, I'm sorry, you have more questions? Yeah.
On the, east elevation, this existing,
That is existing as built, and it's the same here because we're not changing any of the look. It's just that these windows are going to be, this one is definitely damaged and needs to be repaired. And then, so this will be true divided light, same configuration, and then this one will be to match that.
this is existing,
That's existing.
okay?
Yep, it's all, everything's existing.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve with the windows on the front of this house to remain TDL. And the rest can change to wood SDL.
Okay. That's your question, pretty much. All right, so on that motion, Carrie.
Right.
Diane,
Hi,
good, John.
Aye.
Thank you. Val, on your motion,
Aye.
and I'm in favor, motion carries. Okay.
Thank you very much.
For you?
That's
Yeah,
it,
all
I
right,
think
good.
so.
Now it's me.
Now it's Val. Oh, just let the record reflect, actually, I was gonna, oh, there you are.
The thing I made for
It's the
these,
math.
there's nothing else to look
Oh,
at
it totally
on the
is.
screen, right?
Where'd she go? Okay,
Well, yeah, so.
and that can go back. Thank you.
I hope nobody's offended, that's just, that we had an uptick in the COVID, right?
Not offended at all.
Yeah.
Where do you want us to be?
Oh,
Applicants.
there, right there.
Okay, this is a house out behind Bartlett Farm.
Okay,
The official address is 5 Cudweed. I took pictures from all of the different roads that you can get on to see this house, and by and large, you really can't get right up close to it in any direction. The owner would like to swap out the windows in the house and change the color to bronze, which is like a terratone color, and change the trim to cedar.
you mean No white.
No white, get rid of the white.
Oh,
And in
okay.
doing that, she's also would like to request some windows on the east and the south get replaced with slightly or larger glass panels. The bottom first floor on the south are doors, but the rest of the windows we're asking for on the south and on, what did I say, the east, are fixed pane. And again, everything's changing to bronze and natural cedar. So my point is, if you look at the photos from the different vistas, you can't, I don't think it will be a horrible look. Given how far away you can see these, I think it will actually make this house have less impact on
Yeah.
what's around it.
That's what I'm saying. The trim, that means the actual building trim, not just the window trim.
All
the
trim
Okay.
and reshingle, obviously, if you're taking the windows out.
This is-
I'm ready. No. Let's start, right?
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah.
great.
Okay, so, the reason I like this, well, like you said, the, copper tone, what is it called?
It's terratone, which is
Terratone,
like,
and-
kind of like this color.
know where your
And,
mind
yeah, and, yeah, I like that, and it's gonna tone the whole thing down, and I think the 2/2s are pretty bad, and I prefer this, the simpler sort of picture window to those, so, I'm in favor of the proposed.
Cool.
Okay, thanks, Abby. Diane?
Yeah, I think that the color on the trim and stuff will be good. It will, Cudwee is an interesting street, sort of approached, as Val said, from everywhere. But I think that would be good, and I don't have a problem set out where it is, because I don't think we'll be looking at the house quite so high as when the trees will step in the way. I don't have a problem with the windows as submitted.
Okay, thank you.
I'm glad it's not gonna be facing west, because at sunset they would be on fire. I do think, though, I hate to be a stick in the mud, you're adding a lot more width of glass than what's here. And I would hope that maybe you can work it so you're not creating so much more width on the singular mass and then on the double height. This in particular just feels like that's a lot of glass. I don't know what, it doesn't seem like it's a see-through situation at all. But it's only a little bit.
I think,
So I don't think it's, I mean, because I do know this house, because I walk out there sometimes and it is very apparent.
oh, yeah,
And so, yeah, so I just think, I mean, the third floor as it, or the second floor as it exists is not great. And I would think if you're gonna change stuff, you could make it better than what it is, but a little bit less than what you're proposing. If that makes sense.
Just the second floor?
Yeah, I just, think the proportion of wall to window there is just extensive, and it could look a lot nicer and not be so impactful with so much glass.
John?
Yeah, it's hard to read these.
well,
Actually,
there's a big
here,
plan
John.
right in front of them.
This is a larger version. That's a larger version. What you're looking at.
That triple window there. Where did you see it?
That one?
No, right here, photo.
There's a lot of triples existing. Oh, that, yeah, just for fun, did you look at the last page? It's a house down on Grant Point that has a really cool
Oh, yeah.
window that I've never actually even noticed.
I lived in that. How did that happen?
Go ahead, John.
This window that's on the water side is a six unit window.
I don't know what he's pointing to.
That.
That's
sound
the
about
example
Grant
on Grant Point.
Right.
This window is an oddity when it was put in.
Yeah,
And are they gonna change it?
No,
that's not the house. That was just an
Yeah.
example.
yeah, so that, this house is actually out behind Bartlett Farm.
Okay.
Yeah, there's-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
It's always one big space,
I think-
those huge windows up top.
What's your
They took the window as
suggestion?
an example.
yes, showing, these big,
So they replacing the bronze.
or two? Yeah.
they're gonna change all the trim to natural, so no more white trim. And they're going to, change these windows
A
to
little
that.
shorter,
And,
Carrie. a little
bronze,
shorter.
yeah, bronze instead of white. Bronze windows instead of white.
The whole
In
house?
both directions, just keep the.
Thank you.
On the second floor. Okay,
All, I guess.
we're trying to read these windows looking out,
Could I add another thought when you have a minute?
Yes, it is a window.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
What I was thinking, looking at the big windows on the second floor and the comparison on the old one, I'm not one for big windows, as you probably know that by now. But I think it makes the facade of that building less messy. I think all those little 1/1s or 3 meld and 2 and 2 and 2 are, it's not a cottagey house, and I think that perhaps the big paneled windows will be better. Maybe you want to only have 3 on the top and the 4 on the bottom. But I, for one, think that they're simpler looking than all the little windows. So,
Okay, Diane. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the amount of glass on this. Having said that, I do appreciate a change from white trim. I think that's gonna. Carrie said that she walks out there all the time. I do too.
I do too.
Like that seriously, like totally sticks out in that landscape. So I'm looking at sort of like hopefully a net benefit on this going with the natural trim. So I'm willing to let the large windows slide. That would be my opinion. Can we make a motion on this sometime?
Would you be in favor of a motion that reduced those 4 windows? Like,
On the second floor?
yeah,
Well,
By a foot?
I would certainly be, well,
a foot or 2. I just drew in something, I don't know if it's.
what did you do? Make it narrower?
Yeah,
She
yeah, I
made
made
him
him,
shorter.
I made him a little narrower
Oh,
so that.
Schwartz.
I would do a
They're
little bit
centered on-
proportionately, just.
Can you hold up that whatever you
I
drew?
just, I centered over the 4 windows on the bottom and brought them in a bit, and took them up maybe a 1.5
Oh,
feet.
well, yeah, okay, so that's a
And then
reduction in
these are
glass.
centered on each one.
Understood, okay.
I would reduce a little bit of glass on the right-hand mass as well on the first floor, because that just really,
Well, those are
there's no wall.
doors.
Yeah, well, those doors, if you can reduce those by
They're like 4
the
foot
2
wide
foot
doors.
width, the entire package, reduce it by a foot on
Then
either
I'm just
side.
gonna ask to hold for
Yeah,
revisions,
okay.
because I don't think,
If, Mr. Chairman, if, as an alternate, if someone doesn't sit, wouldn't mind commenting. If we're okay, agreeable with that.
What did you say?
If with revisions coming back and being the associate who would sit as an alternate,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind commenting if you're agreeable with that. Okay, so I'm a little bit different than y'all. I think I agree
no, you
with.
can't comment.
I agree with the see-through aspect not being an issue. I agree with the western reflection not being an issue. I agree with the proportionality being an issue. To me, it's almost like this much window make the whole damn thing glass. Make it a gray color that is gonna track the shingle color. And is gonna reflect the natural landscape in an area where the foreign element is not the reflection, it is the framing and the trim and the shingles and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to say that, and I know it seems contrary, but I think the reflection of a full wall of glass there is more appropriate than small pieces of glass that are big
Okay,
relative to the windows that exist.
Okay,
we'll come back.
Okay,
so-
motion to hold revisions.
all right, thanks for the motion. On that motion, Eric,
Aye.
thank you, Diane,
Aye.
thank you, John,
Aye.
Abby on your motion.
Aye.
And your motion carries. Okay, now we are along to old business. We've established boards. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so let's see, the board on this is myself, Diane, John, Val, and Stephen. Okay. Ethan?
Okay, so this was the last application heard on a beautiful evening on the 29th of June. Everyone was like on their way out and it was almost approved with the round window changed to a rectangular window. But Ms. Coombs said she wanted to do a view. So we've
Okay.
changed the window and presumably the view has been completed. It was held for minor revisions, which again, I believe are reflective of the window change. Here we are.
Yeah, we can share.
And so, remind me, Holly, did this go back to HSAB?
This one did go back to HSAB because of it being an infill in the open historic district setting. And they did have some concerns. They looked at this on Monday. Very close to Quarter Mile Hill. Can it be moved a couple of feet to the west? Prefers simpler shed dormer facing Main Street. Sliding barn doors aren't normally covered transoms. Lower the height of the barn doors. Prefer to see west doors as hinged with black strap hinges. East doors should show strap hinges and wood latch. French doors are at least 4 feet wide and will be visible. Prefer to see traditional proportioned door sizes. Make narrower or break into 3 panels. They did ask if you all did not pass this and ask for revisions that they would be able to see that. I did want to let the commission know that we did receive comments again from an abutter, from the same abutter that provided comments previously. And I believe that was forwarded to the commission for your review. I wanted to also notate that with those butters comments, I did look at the previous approval for the shed that was done in 2017. I wasn't privy to that. That does sit at 1 foot 6 inches off the way, which are accessory structure setbacks. So I didn't know what, have you been looking into the setback concerns with this turning into from a secondary to a.
Well, it's not a secondary dwelling, it's a studio, but when they put the shed there, they essentially established a Quarter Mile Hill was their 0 lot line. And I think the substantive minutes or comments from HCC is that they wanted the shed to be inside the hedge, which we're of course maintaining because this is aligned with the shed.
Other than that, I did appreciate the architectural changes. Those are the comments, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Holly. So, Ethan, I don't think the one revision is bubbled.
Oh.
It's, am I correct? Oh, no, okay. Fine, I
So that was the one.
Yeah, so that little square 4 light is what changed. Okay, board members. Okay, John's gonna go.
I find the changes appropriate. The visibility is the only question would be from Quarter Mile Hill.
Correct.
Because there's a hedge up front. And the full lights, right? West yard is on. Well, no,
No.
That face inward.
It's west, meaning it faces into the yard.
oh, come this way.
Yeah, exactly. So you're looking at that side.
This is to disguise the presence of this.
All right. As long as you don't take the hedges down, it'll be all right. There you go.
Not taking down the hedge.
The owners would love to maintain the hedges. We actually proposed just cutting the hedges at the door because like that sort of worked with our
Right.
presentation, but
Gotta do that. Okay. All right, thank you, John. Stephen, you ready?
Sure, I think I appreciate the change. I don't know that it was necessary, but I do appreciate it. I think it helps a little bit. It's gonna be towards the yard. I think the south elevation is, certainly from Main Street, the most prevalent, and it's just a simple style. The east, I think, you're a foot 1/6 off. These are faux doors to mask the transom for use in the master for the bedroom space. Interior programming is in our purview. I think for this to be successful in terms of an approval for me, if, we would indicate just based, nothing on you, Ethan, but based on past experiences later down the road with other applicants, that these doors are permanently affixed as a wall element as opposed to something being behind them, which is
some big glass.
with some big glasses that come later. The other thing is, I think along those lines, I've seen this treatment on Milk Street on 1895 Ropemaker's house. And the privet, it doesn't face a roadway, but the privet runs just past it. It's 5 feet away. I have no concerns about there being privet all the way across this, if that's what the applicant is agreeable to, because it's gonna make this element go away to foot traffic, and it also eliminates potential concerns.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. Val, you ready?
Yeah, I think I agree with Mr. Welch, I have no concerns really, other than what can be seen from Main Street and Quarter Mile Hill. The west does have an overabundance of glass, and is there a way to make the doors more cohesive in style? Or eliminate the transom? But all in all, it's a cute building.
Thank you. Diane, are you ready?
Yeah, on the south elevation, the dormer is, the little window is sort of floating in the middle of the dormer. Is the dormer necessary to have that size? Or that, I know it's the same size window as the one in the east, but then I might bring in the sides of the dormer a little bit. It seems very wide up on that roof with one window in it.
Stairwell, I think.
Yeah, we can make the window just like one size, like the next size up. If it's like a 7 by 9, we could make it like an 8 by 10 or something.
I think she's looking for a littler dormer.
Oh, and the dormer, I mean, this thing is so compact, and that dormer is like the smallest size, you can get up a little ship's ladder to get in there.
Well, then I just would make the window a little bigger so that that dormer didn't sort of sit up there like Lonely Lou up there. That's all.
How about having some shutters on it like are on the other?
Yeah,
Always thinking.
That's why he's
You're
chair.
gonna have to drop your height a little bit to make it work.
Drop what?
Have to drop his sill height a little bit to make it work, just a hair, but it'll work.
just a little tiny bit.
Yeah, you don't think so?
For the shutters?
Yeah. Or maybe I have some parallax error going on here.
I think that they'll fit just.
Well,
like it is.
We'll make them.
All right, okay, so, yeah, and I'm fine with all this. So does somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion
All right, John,
to approve it
okay,
with a small window change and other changes.
so the small window change is to put shutters on the, what elevation is that?
The sound.
Put shutters on the window on the south elevation dormer.
Yes,
Keep the privet.
What was the, oh, and to keep the privet,
You added shutters.
you added shutters.
And the doors are permanently
Yes.
Oh,
architectural
John,
elements.
one other
permanently
thing.
fixed.
you moved in.
No, the hedge stays. And then,
It
That
exists,
the,
Gary,
that the,
like
that
that.
the garage, the barn doors are fixed. See, because right now it has barn doors that are already fixed. But we want to make sure they're fixed so there's no glass behind. Can you add that to your motion?
Right.
All right, great. So that's John's motion. On the motion, Stephen.
Aye.
Thank you, Val.
Aye.
Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, John, on your motion. On the motion.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm in favor, motion carries. Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Now, let me guess,
Nice
thanks,
job.
and let me guess that the next one we're gonna hold, right? Okay, so if you have a motion from the commissioners, preferably one of the commissioners sitting on it, to hold for representation.
So I'm not on it.
You're actually not.
So moved.
Okay, so Abby's made a motion to hold this one for representation. On that motion, Val.
Aye.
Thank you, John.
Village way?
Yeah, we're holding it. You in favor of the motion to hold? Okay, thank you, Diane.
Aye.
And Abby on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor of that motion carries. And the next one I'm recusing from. Ben is representing here. Okay, who's chairing? Oh, I guess Diane, I think you're chairing this.
Yep, I have been, Jerry.
Because we're under remote meeting.
Oh, I thought if you were already sitting, it was okay. Okay. And, well, seeing as I'm not on, this, you guys just decide who's gonna chair.
I'm not sharing it.
Well, apparently with the remote Zoom rules, you're not supposed to chair.
So Abby's here.
So Abby is,
Oh, she's not.
oh, Abby's not on it. Oh, that would mean Val. But listen, I'm not on this. I'm refusing. I'm gonna shut
And I'm writing a motion, so I'm not gonna
Okay.
get in yet.
Why don't I take over?
You're not on it.
But I'll
Would you
say,
chair?
I'll chair, I'll say, could you chair it, Val? Or if you don't want to,
I'll chair it.
Yeah, Abby, I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, we can do that. So pro time chair, would you?
Rules on top.
Who's?
Why can't I delegate somebody as I was chairman for the whole time?
Because you can't act in official capacity as a chair remotely.
Correct.
So the sitting commissioners are, just please let me get some bearing, Coombs, McLaughlin, Oliver, Welch. And Carrie, you're on this too.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if we need an official pro tem motion, but the chair is supposed to be able to designate someone who can sit in their stead. Diane is not here, Ray is here, but he's recused. So, so I think just to make it official, can we get a motion for someone to chair this
Motion
pro
for you
tem?
to chair,
Pro tem,
pro temp.
Oh.
okay.
Oh.
Motion, Diane,
Okay.
What is the motion?
For him to be
Hold,
chair on this.
hold it
Night, yeah.
until Tuesday night.
no, he's here now.
People here.
Are you here? Yes, here.
yeah, the applicant's here. So on the motion, Diane,
What's the motion?
To have Stephen be the chair for this one application.
Well, I don't think an alternate should be chair, but I don't know. I'll just hold off, not vote.
okay, yeah, that's been tested and determined by council to be appropriate.
Aye.
Carrie, John,
What is the motion?
For Stephen to chair this particular application. For Stephen to chair this particular application.
Yes,
Ben, would you like to please present? Thank you.
Yeah, Ben Shampoo for the applicant, thank you. So last meeting, the board requested a viewing, and I'm hoping that everybody gets out to take a look at this, because I think it's critical to note that none of the retaining walls, full stone walls, et cetera, can be seen from any public way. And I think that's probably the most important point I can make on this.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, HSAB did not review this, however, I did, based on the fact that it's obviously in the full historic district. And the photos and the views seem to show the concerns on the visibility, that it won't be visible from Jefferson down below. However, I do echoes HSAB's June 14th comments on the entrance of the parking. I do note that that was brought up, but it wasn't really discussed from the commission. Those are my comments, Mr. Chair.
What was that was brought up?
Hey,
Oh,
comments through the
sorry,
chair, please.
sorry.
Just what the proposed driveway parking lot configuration looks very commercial.
Okay, thank you.
Correct.
And I should probably speak to that now. So the driveway, as it existed before the renovation of this house, really it's a whole new house. There were two entrances with a very large Belgian block court. Also, there was a Belgian block driveway in front of the pre-existing guest house. So the scope of new paving is actually less. We're gonna have some stone left over on this job with one entrance instead of three, or one curb. It is large, but the owners are they're intent on being able to have everybody that is either living there or visiting parked off the street. Because parking at Lincoln Circle in the summer, as we all know, gets very tight.
Okay, Ben, just for clarification for information for everyone. So can you give us a general estimate of what the net decrease in the apron size overall is?
I would say there's probably a 1,200 square foot decrease in overall size of Belgian block.
Okay, thank you. Diane, I want to confirm that you can see the plan, is that correct?
Yes, I can see the plan.
Okay, would you like to go first?
No, somebody else, I'll see what they have to say.
Okay, who would like to go first?
I'll go.
Carrie, you're first.
I agree that the pool and walls will not be visible. And the only thing about the parking in my mind is just all the hard edges in there, but I think once it's built, it's not gonna have,
You'll
we're not
get-
planning on it.
It's hard to, yeah, there's a hedge in front, it'll be planted around it, it's gonna be soft, I know I'm first,
Yeah, the plans always look much harder and, yeah, I'm okay with this application.
Val,
I concur with Commissioner Thornwell.
John,
Yes,
comments?
yes. I'm looking something back. Let's see, children. This for the same building, this one and this one?
I can't see what you're pointing at.
You got it set there.
Well, I know, but I can't see what you're,
Okay,
yeah, so John, just turn this way. Now you have the same building and the same orientation.
okay, this is where we're at.
Well, yeah, and it's the pool and the hardscape.
The pool will be behind it. Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Okay. Diane, would you like to comment?
Yeah, I would like to see the parking lot.
You mean the driveway?
Lincoln, yeah, the driveway going up Lincoln Ave. Lincoln area used to be a more sort of give and take area. I'd like to see the parking lot not quite so edged with some rounded things, so when people drive by, it looks more like it's attached to the landscape around and not a commercial parking space.
Okay, any other thoughts?
No, I don't, the pool is there. I find it large for the air for the pool, but I was trying to get what our new laws were about pools and the lot sizes, but I never got an answer. So I think the retaining walls are fine, and I guess you won't see all the infinity edges in the basin. I just would like to see if people drive by that front view just a little more giving than quite so rectangular, that's all.
Thank you, Diane.
Mr. Chair, through
Yeah.
you, does Diane have access to these pictures?
Yes.
Yes,
Show her the picture of the existing, just because I think it would help.
okay. Yeah, and then I want to get a clarification from Ben on something. Yeah, that, with the, that's it. So Diane, I don't know if you could hear what Val had to say over the rustling of the paper that we're seeming to be having a problem with. The picture on the screen is the existing condition, and then I
Right.
just, before you comment, I just want to get a clarification from Ben. John, Would you-
Yellow one.
John?
It's back together.
would you please stop? It's very disruptive to be shuffling the paper on the mic. Please, for a moment. Thank you. Ben, could you tell us relative, so you've got that existing Belgian block area, roughly it's 1.5 times the width now
Can I
as
just-
proposed?
Can I just see what you're looking at?
Yeah, sure.
Last photo.
Here.
All right, so no, that's actually the view up from, that's the view up from,
This is a neighboring.
that's the road down below. That's
Okay.
Jefferson Ave. That's just looking up to show that you can't see it. That wasn't an example. I actually don't have the existing, the picture of the existing. However, Holly, if you pull it up on GIS, that might be helpful because it shows GIS hasn't updated the photo yet. And it's still showing the 2019.
Okay.
That might be a pretty, I think that would illustrate everything.
Diane, we're just trying to get a comparison of what exists to what's proposed for everyone, just to be able to look at.
Right, thank you.
Can you see the Google?
The yellow one.
Please wait. Please wait. Will you look at this to confirm prior to? That paper sound rattles in my head. I hear that at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Me too.
Yeah, all right, so there it is.
Okay, so Diane, can you see the Google image?
Yes, I can. Mhm.
So we were just looking for a comparison of what exists to, not so much as to sway one way or the other, but just so we had a comparison.
Right.
That they're cutting it down from 2 X's to 1.
Actually, 3.
3.
There was Belgian block in front of the.
Oh, right, okay, in front of the garage. So Diane, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but I will point it out since Ben has pointed out. There was also a Belgian block, John, stop.
Trying to get this
The
straightened
chairman
out.
has the floor. Thank you. Diane, there was a. Thank you. There was a Belgian block apron in front of the garage, which is being eliminated in addition to consolidating the 2 other entrances. Again,
Right.
not to sway one way or the other, but just so you have that information, it's hard to see it graphically.
But you see on the old driveway, what I meant, see how it rounds up over the into the parking lot, even if you had the whole thing paved and sort of just rounded up out the edges, it would sort of fit in with the streetscape. That's all. I wasn't trying to pick it all apart. I just wanted some easing on that front parking lot because it's kind of big as compared to other ones. So I just thought it would be less noticeable or less formal if it had some rounded edges. But if it's too hard with the hardscaping, then forget it.
Ben, I just asked, in the interest of moving things forward, is it possible to round the very corners of the parking lot with a 2-foot radius on the corners?
So, at the
Your
outer,
4 corners on the exterior to, at least in the front towards Lincoln, where the planting beds are, is to just round those with a 2-foot radius on the very corners? You're simply
Yeah.
asking to take the corner off with a little bit of tiny softening.
which
Yeah, 1, 2,
one?
like a quarter rounds type of.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, sure.
Okay, Diane, do you find that acceptable, is to just round those front?
That would be great. It just would give some flexibility to the driveway. That's all. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have another thought before somebody proposes a motion.
Okay, and then I would like to speak to, go ahead.
I think What might help is to break up the Belgian block with a different material, like a small walkway to that gate arbor in the front, in between. You can still drive over it, but it breaks up this huge mass.
I think there is some interest in kind of breaking that up with a pattern, although it hasn't really been hashed out yet. Either a pattern change, I would rather not do a material change. I think that gets too busy. But you mean.
You see what I mean? It breaks it up from looking at like a basket.
Yeah, no, understood. Yeah, I think that I don't know what it's gonna look like yet, but I think adding another material in there would be a mistake. I think possibly adding some larger granite steppers within it would break it up visually. Keep it the same material, but a different
Yeah,
size, you know?
something that just visually breaks.
Yeah. I think everybody would be game for that.
Okay, so, my brief comments are, I'm in agreement with the changes that have been proposed. I would suggest that through staff, the axial differentiation by changing the pattern could be through staff.
Okay.
I believe that, the only other thing of substance I might add is that, an approval would include that the grade change is not perceived from the street below, because that was my primary concern. And I think it won't be, but, in doing our due diligence, we would want to include that in a motion. Does anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make that,
I'm sorry, Diane.
I said I would make that motion.
Thank you, Diane. On Diane's motion, John?
I'm opposed.
Excellent, thank you. Carrie?
Aye.
I'm an aye, and Diane, I'll write that up if you're agreeable with that.
Yep, I am. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Through staff, Stephen.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all. Next up. Uh, 14 Matic, Sham Valley.
Oh, that's a big old building. Big old building.
Myself, Diane, John, Abby, Val.
Sorry.
Start whenever you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
So, you've seen this 2 times before. I think at the last meeting, you had asked for us to reduce the length even further, and I think that the dimension was 10 feet. So we had a very large connector piece. Probably the most relevant elevation is the north elevation of 82.1. On the left side of the building, we had omitted in the previous iteration. We're just showing the original, but in the previous, we had about a 10-foot connector, if you will, and we completely eliminated that. We've taken that program and slid it around the building towards the back. And so we've reduced the overall length by, like I said, at least the 10 feet, which is what was requested. We've also dropped the height, changed the pitches, changed the color scheme to natural trim, gray sash. We reduced the column width. I really think that we've done literally everything we asked, so hopefully the board feels good about this. That's all I have to share. Thank you. Oh, and we also shifted the building towards the road
I saw that.
significantly. That was per the neighbors.
Saw that. Okay. Oh. Could you just tell me what you changed the color scheme to again?
It
It was
is-
natural, right?
It's, yeah, gray sash, natural trim.
Okay, thank you.
Can I get a picture of it? It's not what's up on the board.
This is
Who's in charge?
Yeah, we're still looking at Lincoln Avenue.
All right, hold on. Sorry, thank you for telling me that.
Oh,
Is it up now, Diane?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you.
Okay,
Oh, we also got rid of the shutters.
What color gray is that?
I think it's gonna be a dove gray,
Dove.
yeah. So it's-
Dove was natural.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Sure.
start happy?
Gosh.
I can come back.
So I was just out at Matic Sham at a friend's house, who has like a simple barn.
Yeah,
So I've always had this problem that the massing of this is so huge. Like, so, but I appreciate the 10 feet we got. And how you perceive this in your perspective makes it look definitely like additive massing still with that space in the middle, so.
26 feet tall too.
Oh, good point. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's always been about the scale, so, I'd like to hear what other people have to say.
Okay, we can come back to you. Let's see, Diane, you ready?
Yeah, I am ready.
Okay.
It is too, to me, it is too massive in the center piece. I've been out there 100,000 times in over 50 years. And the houses out there aren't big and long. When you see this from a distance, you see it as a whole roof. You don't see it as up or down. I believe that the center part should be reduced in somewhat, and the copy of the top of the windows on the second floor should not be in a straight line, which copies the roof line, and then it copies all of them. So everything on the second floor is all straight right under the roof and in a long line. I don't know how long that makes it, but it needs more give and take and play and break this up. That is not, to my thinking, a typical house out of Matic Sham area, and I would like to see it. My thought would be to break it down somewhat so you didn't have so many long eaves going along all side, all front, the whole front. The side, which I asked for before, is good. The east side is broken down, and I guess that's the west side too. I appreciate that, but that facade to me is just too big. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Let's see, Val, you ready?
Okay, I do appreciate it a lot, the changes that Matt's made on this. I think for me, to simplify the north is probably the most important thing on this project. We're not gonna see the back, I don't think, even from the beach, where it is on the lot. And I just looked at the interior, if you could take the dormers off the two end masses, which are just cathedral ceiling. Well, this one has got a little space in it, but you have a dormer on the other side.
Yeah.
That would just make it, to me, seem a much more simple,
I could do that.
rustic building. And I do really appreciate, Matt, what you've broken down here.
Thanks, Val. Very good. John, you ready? One roof pitch.
Okay, this is
I bet it's labeled Matthew.
Yes,
Look at your south elevation on the right-hand side. Can you tell us what that roof pitch is?
On the right hand side, on the back gable.
south elevation, the gable facing on the right hand side.
I believe that's a 7.
7 and 12, John.
It's not labeled, I apologize.
Okay.
Okay.
Just want to go one thing. Yeah. Thank you.
Got it? All right. So Abby, I'm gonna circle back around to you just to see if you have any further thoughts.
Well, I do, and I love Val's idea because.
Good idea, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great idea. It makes, I'm sure this is wood shingle, so it's just gonna.
Yeah.
You know, tone the whole thing down on the sides and all you're left with is the dormer. And I don't, you probably already thought of connecting the dormer and making it a little smaller, but instead of, you know, chopping it into 3.
We had one big one originally, which shows up on that plan.
Oh, yeah,
But then everything was kind of bigger back then.
Yeah, like if 3 breaks up a little bit, but
Okay.
but I can omit that one.
The two or which one?
I'm sorry, the one on the right for sure, and if you feel strongly with the left one, I can remove the left one as well.
Oh, I thought you were talking about both of them.
She was. And to Val's point, she said that the one that's not over the cathedral space has another dormer on the south side.
Which one are you, which one? The one on the left?
Which side are you looking at? The north?
I'm on the north.
I'm suggesting the 2 lower masses
Right.
dormers not go away,
Yeah.
just on the front. They can still function with it on the back.
South.
Oh, yeah.
What about a chimney?
That's one, a big one.
I was just thinking,
Look at the west,
So hang
Diane.
On the, I don't know,
on.
north to the west, I would put a big chimney up there, which would break up the roof.
Diane,
Yes,
Abby's talking right now.
I'm sorry.
that's okay. I also think removing one of them, I would be fine with that. It's just that I think that would cut the visual down a lot and make it
Okay.
more subdued.
All right.
So I think it might be that one. on
Sounds
the
like
far left.
Matt's amenable to both of them.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so thank you, Abby. And now, so Diane, just circling back to the chimney thing, do you see the chimney now?
I see the chimney on the right. Yes, I could see that chimney. I was talking about chimney on the other side that would give the roof some breaking before it dropped down to a low level. That's all. I thought it would break up the roof. I didn't, I just think it would be a good thing. I do see the other chimney and I'd known it there, but you don't see it from above the roof line. That's all. I thought Abby might be interested because she's the chimney girl too.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, Diane, but
All right. I'm okay with this, with Val's suggestion of getting rid of the dormers on the right and the left-hand masses, 1.5 masses on the south elevation. North elevation, sorry, north elevation. Does somebody want to give me a motion?
I will.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve these stuff with the north elevations on the 2 flanking masses be eliminated.
Okay, that is the motion. On that motion, Abby,
aye.
thank you, John. Very good. Diane,
Aye.
thank you. Val on your motion.
Aye.
And I'm in favor, motion carries. Very good.
Thank
18
you.
Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
May I make a very brief comment, not related to this?
Yeah.
It's been pointed out, I may want to clarify for the record that the loudness of some of my prior comments simply with respect to some hearing aid difficulties. Thank you.
thank you. All right, so 18 Gardner.
Jump right in, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, and I'll just state for the record, it's the same board that just reviewed your prior application.
So, all right, so you had seen this once before, I believe, and some of the feedback, well, first of all, I think that the board was gonna go out and view the site, and it's a unique site because it's set back pretty far from a heavily wooded road. You approved the demolition of an existing structure, which is this kind of like quirky, full two-story structure. And so this proposed building is actually, I believe it's shorter. And so just in terms of the visibility, I'm just fascinated by, you just really don't see the structure. Still, having said that, we really went back and we've omitted the cupola, which is something that I think, John, you had requested for us to get rid of, which we did. And basically, in general, what we try to do is really just kind of simplify the building. We omitted a decorative entry, gable. We had a half wall with a shingle flare, gotten rid of that, and just really tried to, across the board, basically simplify the structure. The back side, the south elevation faces into the property. Again, that literally, I don't think anyone's ever going to see that, but even still, again, the key that we took away with the, meeting with owners after the HDC's comments was, let's just really simplify and remove, a lot of the more, busier details, specifically the shingle flares, and the half walls, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then the other thing is the board, Mr. Chair, had requested some documentation of the topography, specifically the areas where we're kind of adjusting the grade. And so the property is up on a little bit of a hill. Thankfully, we're actually kind of down from the hill. You can see where that topo, that kind of the crest of that hill is, if you will. And we're actually kind of set down into it. We were actually working with the landscape architect, and we tried to be as clear as possible about the finished floor elevation. The other thing I would point out is previously we had also planned to build a garage guest house, which you can see on the sheet A 3.2. We've actually pulled off the whole wing. We pulled off the whole wing of the building, which was 2 additional bedrooms that were going to function as like offices, flex spaces. So we really kind of removed a lot of the structure. We detached the garage. We're not planning to build the garage right now. We're probably not building the studio anytime soon. And if we are, they will be like separate structures and probably very simple. So we've really cut the overall length of the building down, removed a lot of the ornamentation. We provided all the topographic documentation and coordinated with a landscape architect. Stephen, we have, I don't know if you're on this. But anyways, you had requested.
Stephen is actually.
Not on it. Okay, sorry. So I think it was maybe you, Ray, I apologize. But the topography was like a big question. So if you look at sheet 8.3.3, we have provided a site section, which is all based on the accurate topography from the surveyor. So you can see we're really working with the existing grade. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, very good. All right, who wants to start this one?
Need a minute.
I'll start, I have just one thing to say, like quickly, that I'm on the north elevation, on the far left screened in porch. I think that roof line, that whatever that's called, it doesn't really work, and I'd rather see something come out straight and maybe splayed tips.
We can do it.
Like, yeah, because I see how it just, this looks straight and that looks like just an add-on.
Easily make that, no problem.
I think it would be more attractive.
Sure.
Minor.
And the rest, you're okay with, or?
It's a large house, but you've got, this seems okay with that neighborhood. I mean, is it to scale with other houses?
There are some large houses down there.
Yeah, so, all righty, so that's it for me.
Okay, thank you.
John going? No.
John, you ready? Go ahead, Val.
Okay. I am so appreciative that it's been simplified. I think the only comment maybe I would make is that the dormers on the north to the left, which would be, I guess, what's the west? If that pitch dropped a little, it's a 6. Those would come down a little bit more, and I think, again, simplify it a little more. Because you have some dormers in the back or on the other side that seem a lot lower. They may be the same pitch, but they sit lower on that roof plane. That I comment.
Okay. You want to switch, you want to change out the pitch.
Well, then it will drop it farther down, you know? Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Diane, you ready?
Yeah, I appreciate what's been done. I think it's a hard building there. Unfortunately, it finally occurred to me after all this time that when you know a building well, its mistakes and whatever evade you. So when you see it again, then they come up and you wonder why they weren't fixed. It's a funny thing when you've been in a building 2 or 3 times a week for a long time, and they have to get more criteria. I was wondering if Steve was available to give us some view on how that's going to sit on the lot there.
I would defer to that. Yeah, I mean, Diane, if it's, Stephen said he would defer to me. So we actually have been working with a local landscape architect, who's, you all know, actually it's Mirka. We also have all of the topography provided specifically up to date from the surveyor. And we've been working very, very closely with both of them because we obviously have to deal with this slope. Ironically, one of the things that Mirka had suggested recently after we had submitted this was actually even dropping that first finished floor lower by an additional, which I think is negligible. But I think, Diane, if you can look at the, on the last sheet, A3.3, you can really see the existing grade line in red, and you can see the areas where we're filling are fairly minimal, specifically as it relates to the house. We also show a little bit of fill as it relates to the pool, which is not under this application. But you can also see that the existing grade, we're kind of like cutting into the grade on the front side. And that is also documented on sheet A3.2. The area that is in light blue, Diane, that's the area that we're actually cutting, if you will. So we're not taking the highest point on the property and establishing that as our grade and then filling where we need to. We are actually cutting into that hill. So I think that we're in great shape.
That was one of my problems with the original house, that porch up in the kitchen. It was 40 feet up in the air, at least it seemed that way. And I didn't know how you were going to do that, but that comes out very well. So I have no major problems with it.
Okay, Diane, thank you. John.
Yes, I have one question.
Look at this.
Heating rails. And let me clear up. Heating rail comes down between 8 and 10 inches to line up to the.
Which elevation are you on, John?
All of them. Second floor. Where they have the,
To me, they look like they line up.
yeah. So they're all off. Oh, I marked one of them.
Totally lines up.
We made it fair less there.
Very.
Error.
Yes.
No, I just marked them off with a ruler. Let me see if I can find it.
Depends on whether you're going to the top of the eve or the bottom.
Supposed to go middle?
Usually it's not, usually it's the bottom, but anyway.
Well, I think if that's, Val, why don't you make a
Anyway.
motion with that?
Sorry, I was.
On the second floor, wherever there's a dormer, it should be dropped down to a natural height. So the 950 with the feeding rail.
All right.
They're all off. Now you want to measure it? Somebody go measure it.
It's a smidge.
Mr. Chair, I could answer if you, I could try to, I think, John, on the where the meeting rails may not line up exactly would be on the north elevation. And the way to make them align, John, I would probably need to raise the plate height probably by about 4 inches on that
How
left
tall is
side.
the building?
The main gable is 29, but the rest of the
You're not
building.
talking about.
No, and the gable that I'm talking about, I don't have a dimension, I apologize, but it's probably somewhere in the range of like 26 or 27 feet. So I think the additional 4 inches shouldn't make a significant issue. And to Val's point, I could change the pitch on the dormers to a 5. It's a 6 right now. If we change to a 5, it'll come down.
That sounds like part of it, and then Abby's comment, I agree with Abby's comment about the hip on the porch. So can somebody make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
That motion was to drop the pitch on the dormers to a 5 from 6, correct? To change the porch roof from a gable to a hip and, I'm sorry, from a hip, from a shed to a hip at that, and to align the meeting rails as required. Okay, and that was your motion, right, Abby?
Yes.
Okay, so on the motion, Diane,
Aye.
thank you, John,
Aye.
thank you, Val,
Aye.
all right, and Abby on the motion.
Aye.
In favor, motion carries. Thank you. Right, one more for you, Matthew,
You going to 2:30 or what?
2:30.
Yeah.
Now, one team.
Yeah, gosh, sorry, guys, remind me what number you're here for? I don't want
Number 9.
9. No, not a chance. I'm sorry, we're, and I'm really sorry.
No, no, thank you.
No worries.
Tuesday, very, very likely. You know, unless we have a tsunami or something.
Hopefully not.
These people? Oh, well, they were waiting, they wanted to comment on number 9. Right, but we're not gonna get to that. We're breaking at 2:30, so I think we'll have enough time for this one. And then we'll call it quits. I'm not on this one. Okay, Cambridge.
This here is. Oh, one change.
Right. For commerce.
It was just some other thing, yeah.
You should have chosen a different word to put over the front door.
Oh, thank you, very good. Thank you.
White whale.
Bye, Stephen.
Hi, everybody. I didn't know what to write. I wrote commerce.
You should write like green space for all.
I was gonna write white dove,
Yeah.
peace and joy.
Happiness.
Commerce.
I always wrote HTC.
So there's a little dollar signs I see on the other side.
You mean rule number 1?
Okay.
That's a good one. I'm gonna
All right.
catch that. Sorry.
So is this, actually, somehow you managed to wind up with a 4-person board. Myself, Abby, Diane, and Carrie. No.
I thought I was.
I think you were.
I must have.
Yeah, Val, you were in back in May.
Wait, what happened?
I must have missed a meeting. Unbeknownst to me. Yeah.
All right, well,
So it might just be a mistake.
July 6th.
Oh, I had a comment, so
I
I.
thought it was
Yeah.
a reason, 'cause I never measured that building.
Well, right, but so now, there's only 4 people sitting on this application.
No,
I need 3.
She spoke on it.
I spoke on it in the minutes,
At the
so.
last, at the last meeting?
Yeah, so July 6th meeting, Val's vote.
Okay,
Because of that.
just to be clear, was a vote taken and was she part of it?
It was, and she was.
Okay, all right, that says it all. Because sometimes people who are not sitting on an application do comment. Anyway,
When's the last time we heard that? Check it.
July 6th. I have it right
was
here.
John on it?
John was not on it. Cole, Camp, Coombs, Oliver, Thornwell.
So now you're not.
Okay, I thought I sat on it because I measured the building 50 feet long.
But interestingly, John, and maybe you just did that because it is a 5-person board. Cole, Camp, Coombs, Stormwell, Oliver. 5 people.
That's not what you said.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so folks, let's see, Matthew, go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So at the last meeting, the board had requested that we drop the 2 things. One was to minimize the formality of the rate in the entablature details, which we've done. I think everybody was in favor of the first floor retail detailing. We kind of based it on the Hardys, which was good. We omitted the clapboard, which we had on basically on the front entire section of the building. We covered that completely. We also dropped the plate height for your request. We changed the roof pitch, and again, we minimized the amount of trim detail. So the building height right now is actually 28.9 inches.
Lowest building downtown.
It might be, it might be. So it took a lot of finagling, but we've done that. So I think that those were all the requested changes, Mr. Chair. Now, I did submit some supplemental color scheme options just to show you what the building is gonna look like, just because the color helps. And we can-
Oh, these are options?
yeah, if you go through, you'll see the packet. There's white on white, so white trim, white sash. And the existing building is actually black sash, white trim. So the 2 options that you actually for
Oh, the one,
chocolate.
okay, got it, yeah.
it's a subtle detail. So there's 2 versions. You probably want to look at like the more blown up versions, and you can kind of scroll through and you'll see white on white versus black sash, white trim.
I do see that.
And the reason I put the text in the, I guess, tablature of the banding on the commercial, because that is the way that Hardee's was done. They actually had the word Hardee's banding, and so I just wanted to demonstrate that that's likely where whatever the structure is. I don't know what is exactly going in there, so I just wrote commerce.
Yeah, we can't approve the word commerce.
No, it's simply just for reference in terms of the color scheme, so we're open to either. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. All right,
Yes, Mr. Chair, so this did go back to HSAB on Monday. Their comments are as follows. Actually, I'll read my comments first. So I think that this looks a lot better. Thank you, Matt. It does seem still a little too tall, but I'm glad that it's a lot better. I just wanted to reference building on Nantucket in mind, page 20 or 68. The integrity of the front of a historic building should be maintained. Just a thought on that. But this is simpler. Gable end on the west and the east. The dormers on the south and the 3rd floor seems to be adding to the height, but understand with the programming. There was a comment that I heard at HSAB when I had to zoom in at the last minute that to look at some historic references like the gas light and the Dreamland as examples. I'm glad to hear you looked at Hardee's. HSAB's comments, they referenced the previous HDC comments from the last meeting, and I will, I guess, reiterate them. Coombs said, as proposed, this is too massive. The Athenaeum Catholic Church post office should not be stepped on and made less important. This is the crux of the responsibility of the historic district. The second floor should be set back and the building smaller than the aforementioned. It's too massive in the center of downtown. Camp. This reads as an anomaly. Appreciates removing the third floor dormers, would like the height reduced 3 to 4 feet. It's important to get the color right. Glad to hear those color proposals. Thornwell, this feels too tall. Suggest using the existing tower top plate as a reference to drop the eaves on the second floor. The second floor shutters lend too much formality and pulls attention up there. Oliver agrees with HSAB about the ways to lower the height and what's been said. Simple is better. Likes the north elevation front door, eliminate the clapboard in front. They have done that, shingles, and no shutters. West elevation, same issues. Bold, black shutters is too much, simplify. Their comments on this. This is still too tall. The HTC has repeatedly asked that this be lowered by a significant amount, at least 3 to 4 feet. A 10 to 12 roof pitch is too steep and accentuates the height. Lower the roof pitch to 7 or 8, 12, and eliminate the third floor entirely. Drop a plate to match the existing tower as suggested at HTC. The detailing on the north and west elevation should be simplified. It's more formal than the Keckney building around the corner. Lower India should remain simple and not over-designed. We prefer a street facade that looks like a converted dwelling. Eliminate clapboard on the west and east, and they did ask for those revisions to come back if you all are so inclined. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You want to start, Diane?
Yeah, I'll start because I did ask, other people certainly asked to drop the building down lower, so it's not so high. It didn't compete with the other original buildings in that area. I would like to see the dormers on, I guess, the south side taken off the third floor entirely. I think the least amount of stuff that we call to their attention up on the third floor is bad. I would like to see the third floor gone. I think the facade has improved. I think that Matt is working very hard on it. I still, however, would like to see the second floor, I don't know, moved back or reduce the amount of windows on there or whatever, because talking to people, or they talking to you, a lot of them think of it just as being a little building. Why is it so big, little building? And I said, well, you don't know what's around and back and what makes it, which is true. But the facade front is what makes them see it as such. There it is, the north elevation, everything, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 windows and 2, 4, 6 windows on the first floor. It truly needs to be brought back so there is not that sitting on top of the first floor. Bring it in so you're losing the 2 windows, 1 on each side, and bring the second floor in smaller. That's what I would suggest. I think this, and take the dormers away on the third floor and bring the height down as much as you can. And
Okay,
we go back to ASAP when we finish.
thank you, Diane. Carrie?
I totally appreciate you reducing so much of your program on the third floor to get rid of those dormers on the front. And the shutters as well. I think you did simplify that main front elevation that faces the library. The rear dormers, I hate to say it, still seem a little big from just the end elevation. They're set back enough where I think they actually won't be that significant. But I just wonder if the height of the wall can reduce, maybe if it can just reduce a tiny bit, because it does still seem, oh, I don't even know if it makes that much of a difference.
I can look at that. We've been trying to hold on to some program on the third floor, just like with our fingernails, and it just sounds like we should just scrap it.
Yeah, I wonder also if the rake size
Yeah,
tends to lend a lot to that upper floor feeling,
yeah.
like more
trim, yeah.
important than it should be. So I just wonder if it's a detailing issue there. But I'm and under 30 feet, I think you've done a lot, and I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Abby, how much you?
Yeah, so what is this, Matt?
That's a connecting roof. It's basically a massive cricket. But there is actually a flat section of that deck. So basically where the two buildings meet, we have to create some kind of a slope roof so that the water doesn't just run back into the two buildings. But within that cricket, there is a small section of deck, if you will. But you can't, I don't think you'll ever see it because it's just the sloped.
What material is this?
It's red cedar. So it just look
Like
like a
shingle?
roof. Yeah, it just look like a
Okay.
roof.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think if, so I would love to bring this down a couple more feet, but I don't want to lose this elevation, the west elevation, because I think it mimics a lot of other houses downtown that are sort of neoclassic, that have those extra returns and heavy fascia stuff. On the color choice, this is fun. I think, I like the black because, and especially on the brick, I think it really makes it pop. And the only question I had for the other people, I don't know if they agree with me, but on the picture windows under the sign, I'm not sure that the black works there. And I wonder if that shouldn't be all white and just read as an old-fashioned storefront,
Gotcha.
but keep the sash black, because I think that looks pretty sharp.
Okay.
Up above.
Up above, yeah, on the rest of the, in the whole,
Interesting, yeah.
thing. So that's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Abby. How about you, Val?
I agree with what's been said. I do respectfully disagree with the black. My fellow commissioner, people have asked for black constantly. I remember Or the Whale asked for black windows. We were like, no. Black with white it's just too stark of a contrast, I think. I have nothing to add than what's been said.
Can you describe the deck while we're here? Because I
It looks
just
like
didn't realize it was
walk out
there.
to it.
I'm about to.
Okay.
Okay, so I thought when you were talking about that flattened roof portion there in the cricket, that it was just like a flat membrane roof and then it's actually a deck. So the problem with that, Matt, is that you're gonna see this, what should be just a roof, but then you're gonna see people like from their torso, from their waist up, standing up there. And that sort of like destroys that illusion. I'm sure that, your client is very interested in having this second floor deck. But I'm not let me say, first off, love all the changes, and I basically think it's ready to go, but this is the only problem I have is that little deck.
Mhm.
And I think it shouldn't be accessed, there should be a window above it or something like that, but having like that roof, like my friend Jeff Thayer did a house like that out of Matic and on a connector piece, and you see this roof going up, and then you saw like 4 people, like, halfway up the roof, like they're taking a bath in the roof.
On a
So,
residence, that's not quite as inappropriate
You
as
know,
it is on
but
a building.
yeah, it's just like
commercial building
something, it
in
sort of
historic district.
destroys the illusion that it's actually a roof, it's like, okay, it's kind of sort of a roof, but it's not, it's a deck. So that's the only real, issue I have. I think the height is fine at 28 and a half or whatever it is, and so the rest of them, I'm good with.
Can you
Mike?
ask Abby how old this building was?
The brick building,
Brick building is like.
1870.
1870 on the brick building.
Okay, so it's a historic building.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
think
Give your comment.
I think we have to keep that in mind when we're adding stuff. That is one of our few historic buildings left right downtown. And
Yeah. I mean,
So
yeah.
I think Matt's done very well, but I think there's still a little more that could be done with that in mind. That's an old building and I really don't want it to look like 19 or 2021. I want it to look its age, okay?
Okay, thank you very much, Diane. So my comment on the color was go either way. For me, paint is, like 5 years from now, they can paint the white windows Essex green.
I'm sort of really against the black on a 606. I just, in town, it's just so atypical.
So it sounds like.
Is there a gray that you can find that is?
We do agree, if I could, Mr. Chair, the reason we chose the black is the existing
Yeah,
sash
no,
is the black, that's what we came up
got
with, so
Right.
we could go to an Essex green,
Yeah,
I'm fine with that, and then go with the all white on the first floor.
Right, I like that idea.
so what are we asking him to
So,
change?
so Essex green for the sash. Is that,
Correct,
is that
On the second floor, on the
Correct.
first floor is white.
is white.
And that also goes over to the brick building too, though.
No, the brick building is staying as it is.
Yeah, I would just.
Oh, that's
they
just gonna
are-
be
they are-
white?
Well, even though they're joined, I think that they could have.
Different colors.
Yeah.
One's brick
Okay.
and the other one's not, so
Yeah.
that's a separation enough.
So main mass, Essex green and the brick building white.
Not to confuse it, but I think there is a historic photo of the brick building with a darker sash. But we can keep it the way it is for now, if you wanna come back.
So what's the
Well,
story?
what about that second floor deck?
I can get rid of that.
Yeah. And then.
Hold for revisions and return to Sham.
We may be able to. do
Yeah,
this
I think we
a-
can do it.
I think
Not
we can
me,
do, I
but-
think we can do this through staff.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, go ahead, Val. Everybody listen carefully.
For the, a motion to approve through staff with the color scheme being white windows
On the
on the
floor.
first floor of the new section,
Yes,
Essex green on the second floor,
correct.
and white trim.
Trim, right,
To eliminate the balcony deck in the rear,
correct.
so that door becomes a window. And to make the plate height of the dormer as short as possible and
Okay,
make it still work for the program.
that sounds like a good motion. Okay, so on that motion, let's see. Carol, start with you. Thank you. Val, oh, you made the motion. Diane?
No,
No, okay, Abby?
Sorry, did we say a color for the front door?
White.
It's all gonna be white, right?
But if we change it, we'll be back on.
I'm sorry, Abby?
Right, aye.
Okay, and Val on the motion?
Aye.
And I am in favor, so that motion carries 4 in favor, 1 opposed.
Thank you.
The motion was to approve to staff.
The feeling is good.
Yeah.
And Matt, thank you,
Staff.
because you've totally deferred, let the existing building be what it is.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
That's really
I
good.
really appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank you.
with that, I think we can all adjourn for today. All right, it is time. Yep. I know Zoom call.
Can I make a recommendation that anyone who can go on the links for a sale?
It's awesome.
Oh,
What does that mean?
Oh, cool.
Go on the link.
Go on the links as a tourist, take a day or take
Oh.
an evening for yourself and
Go.
your friends. And
That's what I thought.
keep your sailboat on.
yeah.
Oh, go on a link
Go
for a
on
sale.
link.
Got
And
it.
take rides on there.
Need a motion
Yeah.
to adjourn? No, you do.
Oh, we haven't done that yet?
No.
Oh, God.
Okay, so, all right, so who can make that motion?
I will.
All right. So Carrie has made a motion to adjourn. On that motion, Abby,
Aye.
Diane,
aye.
thank
You
you,
can have that.
John.
See how far you go.